Today, I have the pleasure to give the floor to Marta Travieso. Marta Travieso is a pharmacist from Spain who emigrate, like a lot of people like us, to a different country. Now she is working currently in Switzerland. And over there, she started like global digital marketing manager, first of all in Bristol Myers Squibb, and 1 year ago, she started at Medela. And it's really a pleasure to have her with us because she has a lot of experience helping people to develop their own brand. As you know, remember, if you want diplomas from these classes, you have to watch all of the all of the master classes on live, or you have to watch the recorded links. If you have any questions, please shoot an email to us. So, please, Marta, thank you very much for your time, and thank you to all of you for following us this morning.
So thanks a lot, Zafira, for your super nice introduction. And nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you the knowledge about how to prepare your own brand and collaborate with Inspire Foundation. So let's get started. And I think the best way to do it is to start with some inspiration. So please take a look at those pictures. And I am completely sure that in less than 1 second, you will recognize all of them. And you will already have on the top of your mind the values, the style, the behaviors those guys represent. In the first case, we have Oprah Winfrey. She's called the America's ultimate brand. So she's a truly example of self-confidence and self-belief. Then we have Jack Ma. He's the man behind Alibaba. And for me, it's a really good example of leadership and perseverance. Then we have the Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda Gates. I think they are a good example of entrepreneurship and perseverance as well. And finally, we have Amancio Ortega. He's the owner of Inditex, probably the most important clothing group in Spain. So as I said, I'm completely sure when you see those images, you already interiorize and you already know the behaviors that those guys represent. And the thing is, both those guys and we have to live, we have to face a new VUCA, VUCA world, which is a volatile, uncertain, complex, and very ambiguous world. The world is changing very, very fast. We have a hyper-connected society and an exponential technology acceleration. We know that in 2033, the 60% of the active population will be millennials. And there is a new type of professional. Those professionals are well known to be nomads. The word nomad is the combination between knowledge and nomadic. And those new professionals have a very entrepreneurial approach. They are very creative, curious, brave people, and willing to take action. And of course, in this new super complex world, in this very competitive marketplace, your online presence, your online brand can make or break your career. So no more excuses. We have to develop our own presence in the digital world. And on top of this super complex world, the thing is, in the corporate world, in the university world, new needs are coming up and new expertise is required. We have new fields of expertise: e-health, blockchain, Internet of Things, SEO, IoT. I mean, we have a lot of new fields, so new expertise is required. So you guys, if you are now preparing your future, you have to you have to know that all fields, they are there, and we need people to provide the value that we need. So, and then the thing is, in 20 years, we will continue working. So, as we said, no excuses. We have to be ready to take action and develop our own brand and our own digital presence. So, according to the official definition of what is personal branding, we have this definition: is personal branding is the practice of people marketing themselves and their careers as brands. And as you probably know, branding is the most important aspect of any business, no matter they are small, big, B2B or B2C oriented. So an effective brand strategy, if we translate this into the personal approach, an effective brand strategy gives you guys a major edge in the increasingly competitive markets that we have right now. And the brand, your brand, will tell your customer that in the future will be your employer what they can expect from you. So in a nutshell, your personal brand is who you are, who you want to be, and who people or how people perceive you. So sometimes we think that we transmit something. We think that, I'm very, I'm very talkative, or I think I'm very spontaneous person. But then the perception other people have about us is completely different. So, which are the benefits of developing a personal branding? As we said, in this complex world, and on top in the age of social media, every single professional has the opportunity to build and grow a strong personal brand. So the benefits of having this personal brand are basically control of what you can communicate about yourself, breaking established concepts. If you have a really strong personal brand in the internet, you can change the game a little bit, because you normally have to apply for some job positions, but having a good personal brand, you open the door to the possibility that other people can find you. So this is the networking effect of having a strong personal branding. Of course, developing this, you will differentiate yourself from other competitors or other people applying to the same jobs as you do. And as we said, it will be very easy to you to find partners, collaborators for new projects, new ideas, etc. And your channels, your digital channels in where you develop your personal brand will be your own channel of expression that you can control. So, of course, we cannot forget that the offline world exists. So we have to combine both things, be really prepared when we go to a job interview, as Maria explained in the previous session. But then you have to develop your own personality in the digital channels to transmit what you want to transmit. So to do this, we have 5 points that we need to cover in order to develop the personal brand. So first of all, we have to make a strong, sometimes it's difficult, but this is the most important thing, is an exercise. We have to make an exercise of identify ourselves. Identify yourself. you have to know very well who you are. And then you have to know very well in which fields or where you want to go to position yourself. Then you have to differentiate yourself from other competitors. And all the value that you can provide, you have to communicate it and finally activate your brand through the correct channels. So let's start with the first 3 points. The question is, okay, Marta, this is very nice. I understood that I need to develop a personal brand, but it is very difficult. This is a very high-level definition. Tell me what exactly I have to do to start. So to define your brand identity, to really know who you are, what you want, your skills, there are 2 tools that I found really interesting. The first one is the personal SWOT analysis. We are going to see it in a minute. And then we have the empathy map. Then later on, we will talk as well about the privacy, which is a very important element in this personal or digital branding approach. So starting with the SWOT analysis, this is a super common and probably the most famous approach that a lot of business follow when they have to analyze their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a very famous chart. So we can use this for our own exercise. So by completing this, you will find a full picture of your personality and your pain points and your gain points. So let's deep dive in the SWOT analysis. So as you can see in this slide, create your own SWOT analysis as a foundation for your personal brand is very important. So to do that, please try to list in the 4 following categories at least 5 different personal attributes. We don't have to make this exercise right now because you have to really think on it, but you can do it afterwards. And of course, if you have any doubt or you want me to check your exercise, please feel free to reach me out. So starting with your strengths, this is probably the most common question in any job interview. Is what do you do better? What advantages do you have that others don't? And the tip is that you think in your strengths in relation to people around you. Then we have weaknesses. Which task you normally avoid? Which are your negative work-study habits? Or which attributes of your personality hold you back? And be fair. I mean, be honest with yourself. It is very important that you know yourself very well. Then opportunities. Is the industry where you want to work in growing? Which trends do you see that can help you in the future? So think in all these opportunities as, for example, Infi Foundation as an example of good networking and opportunity to grow. And finally, we have threats. Which obstacles are you currently facing when applying for a job? When trying to figure out what's going on in your industry, in your field of expertise? Which are the obstacles you have? So please do this SWOT analysis and be honest with yourself And with this, you will really have a good foundation for your personal brand development. So as we said, we have this SWOT analysis, but we have as well this other tool, which is the personal empathy map. This map is commonly used as well in the business environment, in marketing, when we have to design new services and products. So we use this empathy map to really know very well our future target or our future customers. So you can import this map and use it for your own personal brand, and it's the same as we saw in the SWOT analysis. You have to reply those questions. What do you think and feel? Which are your aspirations and motivations? Then look around you. What do you see? Environment, friends, market status. Just write down all the ideas that come to your mind regarding the environmental situation around you. What do you do? Main activities, secondary activities. On top of your university degree, are you involved in other activities? For example, this is very important. Or do you have a really clear passion on top of your current degree? And then we have, what do you hear? What professors, friends, family, social media in general, etc. say? Then, as we saw in the SWOT analysis with the weaknesses and threats, you have to list your pains, your fears, frustrations, difficulties. And then you can list as well what are your goals. Where do you want to be in 2, 3, 5 years? Short term, mid term, long term. You can repeat this exercise so many times as you want. So I totally recommend you guys the book that you see on the bottom of the page. Business Model You is a very famous book, and in it you will find the complete methodology to develop the personal empathy map and many other useful resources to develop your personal brand. So for me, it's a must-have, this book. I totally recommend it. So then, now at this point, we already know who we are, which are the most important differentiators of our personality, and where do we want to position ourselves. So now it's time to go online. Now it's time to move all the information online and really communicate and activate our brand digitally. So, and when it comes digital, I would like to talk about first the privacy, because the privacy is really important in the age of cookies and in the age of tracking. So if you didn't make any personal branding action in the past, you have to make the following exercise. You have to make a personal audit to see how your name is appearing on the internet. And to do that, just Google your name and see, what does Google say about you? Does this information define you? Maybe it's defined you personally, but not professionally. This is the difference. And we want to turn this information, this personal information, into professional information that might be useful for us in the future. And the most important thing, do you like your web you. So as you can see in this slide, this is my personal example. This is my personal SERP. The acronym SERP stands for Search Engine Results Page. And as you can see, in the first position, I have my LinkedIn profile, which is very good. Is the information I want to show when somebody looks for a digital marketing manager, for example. So I want to, or for my name, so I want to show my LinkedIn information first. Then in the second position, we have, again, LinkedIn. It shows that there are more Marta Traviesos in the world, actually 3 profiles. And in the third position, I have my Twitter profile. So for me, this SERP is good. I want to have this SERP because LinkedIn and Twitter are the channels who are helping me the most to be on the top of my field of expertise and are helping me the most to promote my curriculum vitae and my personal branding. So this is, I think, a mandatory exercise. Please Google your name, and really, and if you see that something is wrong or something should not be there, just clean up those links, unsubscribe from services that you don't use. If you have more than one or Facebook account, for example, just try to clean up a little bit those channels. It's really important in order to clean up your SERP. So then, talking about privacy again, and you have to be the owner of your name on the internet. So I totally recommend to use this tool, NameCheck, to check your name availability. So this tool is for free. It's namecheck.com, the URL. So what I said, remember. And the tool, as soon as you introduce the name that you want to use in your social channels, or if you want to book a domain, for example, the tool will automatically show you if those names are available or not. And if they are, just book them. Book them. It's very important to avoid that other people do before you, and then you lose your name. For example, in my personal example, I could block Marta Travieso, so it's very nice. And what is true, if you have like a more common name like John Smith, for example, probably those names are already booked. So in that case, think about how to modify the name and then go for it and block all the social channels for you. Then it's important as well to know digitally who are the experts in your field. So my recommendation is that you have to research which results you have using relevant keywords in your field of expertise. For example, when I opened my Twitter, my professional Twitter account, I started to look for keywords like pharmaceutical industry, digital pharma, or other topics like inbound marketing, digital transformation. So I started to follow other people that share the same content as I do. And I started to identify who are the influencers on those fields. And of course, doing that, you will discover as well if there is any online event, webinar, etc. that you can attend, or which are the hot topics that are going on in your field. So doing that, you will start following other people, and building your digital network. I can tell you that based on my experience, having a powerful digital network really helped me a lot. So this is another really important point you have to do to develop your personal brand. So the more you are connected with other people doing the same as you do, the more relevant your personal brand will be. Then, so now you have to think about your status. So Google your name first and then think, in how many social networks are you registered? Probably you will tell me, okay, I'm in Facebook, I use Instagram, maybe Snapchat, and Twitter. But the question is, how many of them do you really use in a regular basis? Because sometimes we open an account in a social network and we forget about it. So think about it. Make an audit about your social network status. And finally is, which kind of content do you publish on them? Is personal content or is professional content? Or is a mix between both? In that case, and this is a question that normally people ask, okay, Marta, which is the best percentage? Because I don't want to have two different profiles in Facebook, two different profiles in Twitter, both professional and personal. I don't want to have that mess. Yes, this is totally right. It can be a mess. What I recommend is that you focus your attention only in professional content, in LinkedIn and Twitter, and then you just separate your personal use, for example, as I do in Instagram. So I use LinkedIn and Twitter only exclusively for professional content, and then I use Instagram for more personal content. And of course, the account is closed. It's not a public account. But the first recommendation is don't try to mess them up, because your brand is going to be totally cumbersome. You will have personal content with professional content, and that will not help you at all. And remember, this is very important, that every single action in the digital world, every click, every follow, every unfollow counts. Our digital footprint is, we have to live with that. So when it comes polishing your personal brand, be always aware of this. So we will see later on some don'ts to avoid when it comes to digital and personal branding. So we have seen, let's make a refresh of the information we already saw. We have seen how the tools, the empathy map and the SWOT analysis to really know ourselves. Then we talk about privacy and how to make a personal audit. So Google your name, revise all your social networks, and block using NameCheck, this free tool, block names and domain in the case you want to open your own website. So with this basic configuration, this basic foundation, now is the time to start pushing our personal brand to the next level. But as we said, it's very, very important that we really make first this cleaning up and this foundation, okay, with blocking your names and analyzing the information about you, which is already there. So once we have done this, then the next step is to think, okay, in which channels I'm going to be active, which channels are going to help me to develop my digital brand. So nowadays, I totally recommend to use LinkedIn and Twitter. And then there are other two that I like very much. The first one is Quora. Quora.com is a place to ask questions to a really a big audience and receive quality answers. So in Quora, you will find experts in your field asking questions. So while you are interacting with those guys, with those experts, with other people asking questions that might be relevant for your field of expertise, you can provide value. And those interactions are going to help your name to rank in better positions and are going to help your brand to appear, to gain authority. So Quora is, I like it very much. And then we have another place, which is Medium, medium.com. Medium, if you don't want to open a blog or your own website, Medium is a really nice place to share your ideas and share your knowledge. In Medium, the benefit of this platform is that you will have a lot of traffic coming to this platform. So Medium will really help you to increase the visibility of your name, of your expertise and your services wherever, okay? So I totally recommend those two tools. And once you have selected the channels in which you want to be active, then the most important thing is the interaction with other people. And to interact with other people and to start sharing your own content, your ideas, your own knowledge, then you have to follow a structured approach. So I totally recommend you to do this exercise. Is how to create your content hub. So you have to think on the topics that are more relevant for you. Which is the key topic that will make your brand, your personal brand, be different? So this topic, then you have to select in which channels do you want to share that topics, and select the hashtags you are going to use, and be consistent. Consistency is probably the most important thing when we talk about personal branding. Then on top of this central topic, which will be the backbone of your personal brand, will guide your brand, will be the content territory where you will be the expert. On top of this, you have to define related subtopics, probably content that you will share not so oftenly, but will help to, you know, to put more another knowledge around your personal brand. And finally, we have the smallest piece of the content hub, which is the supportive based content. So this is very high level. So let's see an example. For example, in my case, I work, I'm a pharmacist, as Zafira said before, and I'm a pharmacist specialized in digital marketing, in pharmaceutical industry and med tech. So for me, digital marketing and innovation in those areas are the most important topics. So I always, if you follow me on LinkedIn or in Twitter, I always share content related to this topic. And I, since I started my professional career, I think it was in 2012 when I finished my university degree. So during all this time, I have been building my digital personal branding around this field. And that gave me a true opportunity to meet other professionals that are doing and sharing the same content. So we share the same interests. So I use, as I said, Twitter and LinkedIn. And in the beginning of my professional career, I had a personal blog as well. But now for several reasons, I couldn't keep it open. So I decided to close it down. But I have to say that in the beginning, when I tried to positioning myself in this field of expertise, having a personal blog really helped me tremendously to my personal brand. Then, as related subtopics, I use I used to share all about inbound marketing, user experience, SEO management, but those are not my key points. And I use the same channels, LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook. And then my supportive-based content, I use Instagram. This is the only personal channel that I have, and I only share landscape pictures about beautiful Switzerland. So this is my content hub scheme. So I totally recommend that you do the same exercise to organize and to really be clear about the content and topics you want to help to position yourself. Then it's very important that you make your personal brand visual as well. And as you can see in this slide, we have this first example of a guy in LinkedIn, and the header image of his LinkedIn is an image that LinkedIn put by default. So it's not a personalized image. So as you know, an image is worth more than 1,000 words. So sometimes a good image is better than entire CV. So when you land in the personal profile of this guy in LinkedIn, you will see his picture and anything else. And if you compare that example with Bill Gates' example, you see that his header is completely customized. So it's really reflecting the main activity of Bill Gates nowadays. So you can do it as well. And I totally recommend you that you customize your social networks. And to do that, you don't need to be a designer. You only need to use this tool that I love, which is Canva, canva.com. And in Canva.com is extremely easy to create your own marketing materials, your own visual materials that you can adapt to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, your blog, whenever. So in Canva, of course, all the tools I'm promoting today is based on my own experience, so I recommend them because I think they're very useful. And Canva is a free tool, and it's very easy to create those materials because they already offer the specific size for the header images, for example. So you can upload your images, your information, and create those header images. This is my case. I keep it, as you can see, very minimalistic. So, but you can play and create your own stuff. And of course, if you start to share your own content, you can use Canva as well to create your own infographics, your own cards, whatever. Please explore this tool because it's really useful and is for free. So let's have a look now to some don'ts that is highly recommended to avoid when interacting in the digital space. First of all, when it comes to select a name in social networks, please never link your name to a company. As you can see, this is an example from Spain. This is a quite famous journalist, Ana Pastor, and she was working in the public Spanish television. And unfortunately, she got fired. And the thing is, when she got fired, her name, as you can see here, was Ana Pastor _TVE. TVE is the acronym from the public Spanish television. So that name was totally linked to a organization. So never link to your name to a company. Then if you start to share content, there are some tools that can help you to do it in a more frequently basis, like Buffer, for example. Buffer is very famous. So some people, I mean, they are very nice, but you have to control those kind of tools. If you can, or if you want to program your tweets or your LinkedIn publications, you have to really be careful and don't use these tools in a very repetitive way, okay? Then, in the case you are already working in the corporate world, please respect always the social media policy of your company. This is very important because a bad experience doing this can destroy your career. So be very careful about it. And of course, never buy followers for your social networks. This is totally useless. So don't do that. And what time is it? I think okay. I think the best advice after talking about digital branding is that be online what you are already offline. I mean, the digital world can be sometimes very tricky, and don't try to do things online that you are not doing offline, or trying to pretend to be another person. So be authentic and real, okay? So this is, again, the 5 points you have to cover when creating your digital brand. Identify yourself, positioning and difference. To do that, you can use, as we said, the SWOT analysis and empathy map. Then communicate your brand, selecting the right digital channels. You don't have to be present and active in 1,000 channels. Select the ones that are more useful for you, and activate your brand. Activate your brand, starting to share content, connect with other people, search for keywords which are relevant in your field of expertise, and create your own marketing materials. Customize the look and feel of your social networks, and be consistent with that. So we have to be fair. I mean, the personal branding is a huge topic, and it takes a while. I mean, you have to invest time and effort to develop your own channels, and you have to invest a lot of time to grow authority on the internet. So start step by step. But I can tell you that having your personal brand will help you tremendously to set the foundation of your future work. You will find a lot of new opportunities if you are well connected, and if you are truly demonstrating your personality and your knowledge through the internet. And you will find new colleagues, new interesting people that you can collaborate with. So no excuses. Having a personal branding is, I think, mandatory nowadays. Here I put some links that you will find interesting if you want to continue to explore this topic. Howtofascinate.com, for example. This is another really interesting tool to make a personality test. So have a look at it. Then Canva.com, the design tool that we saw. Google Alerts to really control your name. You can set Google Alerts with your name. So each time somebody mentions you or your name appears in a website, Google will inform you that your name is active, how to say. Then we have brandyourself.com. Those are more advanced resources if you really want to build your own website with a true personality and an amazing look and feel. Have a look as well. It's very interesting. IFTTT.com. This tool will help you to create rules to make the management of your social networks more easy. EFTTT tool works like if I want, or you can create a rule, for example, saying if I tweet this, or if I publish this comment on LinkedIn, please automatically push it in Twitter as well. So controlling IFTTT, you can control several networks at the same time. It's very useful. Finally, please print out the SWOT analysis, make this exercise, because knowing yourself, be honest with yourself, and know which are your main characteristics, and know what is your true personality is the key point in all the personal branding stuff.
Perfect. So we arrived to the end of this masterclass and the end of our quarter course. Please register your name at the end in the link that is going to pop out to record who was attending to these classes. If you want to get a diploma, we always ask, please, the favor to give your feedback, anonymous feedback about if you like the class. This is really useful. It's constructive criticisms for us to share with the speaker. Thank you very much for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Ciao, bye.